If you've got less than 5 grand in the bank, you're not doing well financially. I know. Harsh. Because here's the truth. If you don't make changes right now, get comfortable. Comfortable with debt, comfortable with stress, comfortable being stuck for the rest of your life. So let's fix this. 4 steps, no fluff. And if you follow them, you will build real stability. Let's start with the facts on why you have to take action now. Credit card debt in America just hit an all-time high, with Americans owing over $1.1 trillion. And it's not just because everything is more expensive. It's also because it's easier to spend money now than at any other time in modern history. Monthly subscriptions, tap to pay, social media, and buy now, pay later. Even cash apps have ads all over saying small payments are cuter, but it's not. Think about it. If you want to save money and be financially stable, you need to make the conscious decision to stop charging your card when it's not necessary. At the same time, inflation is eating away at every dollar you have saved. That money in your account today is losing value every single month. So if you're just treading water, living paycheck to paycheck, and you're not seeing your savings go up, eventually you'll be in trouble, if not already. Because let's say you have $5,000 in your bank account today. If we project 10 years into the future, $5,000 then is worth $4,000 today. If we go further to 20 years, that would be $3,000 today. And by the time you retire, $5,000 will be worth $2,400 today. So if that's you, or you have less than that, then listen closely, because your situation isn't hopeless, but it does require action. Step 1, build a true emergency fund. And I don't mean just having some money sitting around in your checking account that you'll eventually spend on DoorDash or Amazon. I mean money that is off limits, money you only touch in emergencies. According to a Federal Reserve survey, the #1 reason people go into credit card debt is unexpected expenses. That's right, not vacations, not shopping sprees, but surprise emergencies. 56% of Americans can't even cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. Most of us are one car accident or medical bill away from swiping a credit card and sinking deeper into the hole. If this does happen to you and you need a loan fast, please avoid payday loans and cash advance apps at all costs, because they just trap you in a cycle of debt, which we cover in this video. Instead, consider a personal emergency loan like CreditNinja. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, offer loans up to $5,000, and could even deliver funds on the same day you apply. Watch this video to learn more. So emergencies aside, the way I built my emergency fund was by first figuring out how much money I have coming in every month, and then how much I'm spending. This number is called cash flow. Then I would look at unnecessary spending and cut it out. No more Xbox Live, no more TikTok Shop, and definitely no more door dashing unless you're doing the driving. But I'll talk more about that in a second. You've also probably seen the buy now, pay later option on most checkout pages to help split bigger payments into smaller ones. We cover how buy now, pay later is a massive financial trap in this video. But for now, I'll just say that if you miss any of your payments, your credit score will suffer. So now that I have my cash flow, I would take it and put it into a high-yield savings account. Typical banks have savings accounts offering a fraction of a percent, but more importantly, this rate is lower than the rate of inflation. That means any money parked here loses money. This is why so many people, especially those who are financially stable and the millionaires and billionaires, are all keeping their money in other investments, whether it's real estate or stocks, because those investments grow at a higher rate than inflation. And if you're like, whoa, that'll never be me, you're wrong. So I put my emergency fund in a high-yield savings account because accounts currently earn around 3 to 5% interest. But because your money is earning interest and growing, this can at least help offset inflation a bit. I have a video on what to look for in a high-yield savings account if you're interested. The goal of step 1 is to be as aggressive as possible building your emergency fund. Financial experts recommend 6 months of expenses saved up. So whatever your monthly expenses are, multiply it by 6 and take that number and write it everywhere. Whiteboard, sticky notes that you leave around the house, or in your wallet, wherever you need to put them to keep yourself locked in. Now step 2, time to eliminate the financial cancer in your life, debt. Especially the high interest debt, like your credit card debt. The average credit card APR right now is nearly over 20%. My credit card interest rate is actually at 26%. That's insane. So if you're carrying a credit card balance, you should have sirens going off. You cannot become financially free with a credit card balance, period. Paying $0 or just the minimum each month is only making you poorer every single month. So if you're not paying your statement balance in full, it's time to wake up. When I was working on my credit card debt, I kept cutting out out unnecessary spending. I didn't even think about investing until that debt was paid off. That's because when you have a balance, your debt is growing around that 20% rate. And for the average investor, there isn't a single investment with average returns higher than 20%. The biggest index funds that all the Wall Street pros use grow an average of 8 to 10% a year. So if you have $1 in investments growing at 8 to 10%, you make some profit, but that dollar you have in credit card debt is growing way faster at 20%. So you're still losing money. So it's clear that paying off credit card debt is key, and I would focus on handling it before anything else. I mentioned this earlier, but to pay off debt as fast as possible, you can't be making minimum payments. In my younger days, I didn't know this, but when you make minimum payments, you aren't necessarily getting closer to paying off your credit card because the minimum payment isn't enough to cover the monthly interest. Banks love this because they make tons of money off the interest you pay each month. Here's an example. Let's say your credit card debt is $5,000 and you're only paying the minimum of $100. To calculate monthly interest rate is 0.24 divided by 12, which is 2%. So on a $5,000 balance, 5,000 times 0.02 is 100. That means each month, interest alone is $100. If you only pay your minimum payment of $100 and the interest is also $100, then you're only paying the interest and your balance is not going down at all. We have these videos on tips for paying off credit card debt, like with the avalanche or snowball method. So I highly recommend watching that video after this. It's linked in the description. If you found this video helpful so far, please subscribe for our upcoming videos. We're sharing an ideal financial audit for someone in your age group next week. Now on to step 3. This is the most obvious step for financial security, but it's also the one that gets ignored the most. The truth that nobody wants to admit is that you can only cut expenses so far. You can cancel Netflix, stop eating out, and who can forget my favorite, stop going to Starbucks, just make coffee at home and you'll be a millionaire. What will truly change your financial life is increasing your income. This will help you pay off your debt faster and build that emergency savings faster. There are several ways to do this. 1, get a side hustle. Zapier found that the median side hustle income is around $500 per month. That's $6,000 a year. Think about that. 1 year of a side hustle could double your entire starting savings. The hardest part is finding the side hustle we really want. For most of us, our first thought is something along the lines of being a DoorDasher. It's not something we're really passionate about, but it's extra money in your pocket, and you don't have to do it forever. I've DoorDashed myself, and it was pretty chill. But I get it. Some of the best hours of DoorDashing are nights and weekends, and we'd rather be having a good time with our friends. And this can be said for most side hustles. We do them outside of work when we're tired at the end of a long day and want some free time. If you don't want to DoorDash or Uber, get a restaurant job on the weekends. But please don't fall for passive income traps or think selling something on Amazon will fix your life. All that costs a lot more to start than you make. But let's say you're crafty. You can sell things you make or things you find at thrift shops on Etsy. Or you can sell clothes and extra things you don't need on Poshmark, Depop, or even Facebook Marketplace. But remember at the start of this video, I said I wasn't gonna coddle you. If you're in a bad financial situation, you need to do things you don't wanna do because nothing changes if nothing changes. The other option is find a job that pays more. I know it's easier said than done, but I freshened up my resume and started applying for jobs that paid more. Every Sunday, I looked on Indeed and applied to at least 10 new jobs. And guess what? After about 6 months of side hustles, I was able to get a job that paid better. Once you're making more money from side hustles or a new job, it's important to set aside the new extra income in your emergency fund. That's it. Then repeat it and scale it. The consistency is what creates transformation. I mean, it's like anything we do. If we get in the habit of going to the gym, we keep going and going. If we stop going, it gets harder and harder to go. So push through early on and you'll come out on top. Remember, your job pays the bills, but your side hustle and new higher salary builds your freedom. Now let's fast forward into the future. After about a year, I paid off my credit card. I had around $12,000 in my emergency fund, and now is where most people undo all of their hard work, upgrading cars, apartments, and overspending just because they have some money in the bank. That's because when you get too comfortable financially, you can become too comfortable spending. And I don't know about you, but I want financial security for the long term. Next year, 5 years, 30 years down the line. So instead of spending money on things that I don't need, I personally would start looking at investing with the long term in mind. So it's time to invest. Like I mentioned earlier, the big stock market index funds grow on average around 8 to 10% a year. And if I have extra cash, I'd like to put it here to prepare for retirement. What is a stock market index fund? It's a collection of all the best companies and their stocks, so you can benefit from all of their growth instead of picking stocks. Too many people rush into the stock market or crypto thinking they'll get rich fast, while still drowning in debt and living paycheck to paycheck. That's a recipe for disaster. But if you're investing for long-term growth, you need consistent growth. For me, I opened up a free investment account on a reputable exchange platform, aka where you buy and hold stocks, like Apple or Amazon. You then connect your bank account and can start investing with as little as $100. For me, I automatically put in $500 to $1,000 a month, since I already have my emergency fund and paid off my debt. But for the months I have more cash flow, I put in more. Investing is powerful, but it only works when you have stability. Otherwise, the first emergency that comes along forces you to sell your investments at the worst possible time. But here's how powerful it can be. You know how banks take interest payments from you when you're in debt? When you're investing, you make interest. It's called compound interest because the interest you make gets invested back in. So you're making more and more free money the more you invest. If you had invested just $500 per month into the S&P 500 over the last 30 years, you could have over 1.1 million today. That's the power of compounding. But again, you only get those returns if you stay invested through the ups and the downs, which means you need that emergency fund first. To invest, most people start by creating a Roth IRA or a regular brokerage account and investing there. Some jobs are also set up with retirement accounts for you, and you can automatically deduct from your paycheck directly into the index funds. When I did this, I started small, stayed consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. If you're sitting on less than $5,000 right now, the harsh truth is that you're not in a safe financial position. But you're not doomed either. You just need to stop wasting time, stop making excuses, and start building. Thanks for watching. See you next time.